Hey everybody, I know it's been a while since I have uploaded a video. As you guys know, I've had two CG strikes on my channel, so I just was waiting for those to expire. I think they're fully expired next month, so what I put out here is going to be very limited. I just wanted to let everybody know that I have recently heard from Barry Croft, who is one of the defendants in the Whitmer case that was participating in the documentary. We heard that he is being moved to the CMU at Terre Haute. So the last time you guys had heard an update about Barry's situation, you knew that he was in the SHU at Terre Haute. Um, Same with Adam being at the SHU in Florence, Supermax, and they were both on track to go to ADX. ADX is like the Lomax area of the Supermax prison. But now Barry has been told he's going to be housed at the CMU, that's the Communications Management Unit. This is where the Bureau of Prisons puts people that they want to segregate and isolate from the rest of the population there. And it severely limits their ability to communicate, extreme isolation and restrictions, lack of transparency and accountability. So they tell you that you can get out of this if you have like good behavior. That is not true. There is no getting out of it because they'll give you a set of criteria to meet in order to get out, but they make that criteria impossible for a person to achieve. So you have to like wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning on your own with no alarm clock, and you have to have your bed made and you have to do all these different things that they'll expect you to do, like jump through all these different hoops. But even if you do all that, they'll still just make up a reason why like you can, why you're not going to get out of the communications management unit. And basically it talks about total surveillance of them, monitoring their communications. Now for like the reason that they did this was after 9/11, during the global war on terror. So this was post 9/11 CT framework implemented by the Bush administration. And what it was originally for was, post 9/11 stuff. They didn't want to have some like Al Qaeda operative contacting a foreign network, and conducting T acts, if you know what I mean. And so the purpose of that, to limit their communication, monitoring their communication, they say communication has to be done in English, not in the foreign language. It's so that they can make sure that, some T person, is not talking to a foreign network and still conducting and being a shot caller from prison is basically what it is. Or like a member of the Sinaloa cartel. They don't want them to be able to basically organize hits and run their criminal network from prison. That's the whole point. But obviously Barry is not any of those things. He's not convicted of doing anything. He hasn't done a violent crime. They said he conspired to do something that we know he was framed by the FBI for doing. And so it's just kind of crazy that this is happening to him. And so he like, let's be real. Barry calling his three teenage daughters his fiance, his elderly mother, this is not a threat to national security. They're acting like these guys are well, as the U.S. Attorney Nils Kessler said at Barry's sentencing hearing when he gave him 20 years and decided he was the spiritual leader of the group, he likened him to the blind sheik, which is absurd and ridiculous. But this is like that's how they're treating him, as if he is some the head of some foreign T group or something that is committing acts of violence internationally and running a criminal organization that requires like gun running or some way to fund illicit proceeds, for a criminal network. Like, they kept trying to call the Wolverine Watchmen militia group a gang, and they kept trying to categorize them as a gang. And I keep thinking of, like, well, if you understand legitimate law enforcement activity, like, gangs are involved in, like, a criminal enterprise, and you have to show how they're engaging in a criminal enterprise. And you can, if you look at gangs, they have drug dealers on the street, so they'll have people on the street selling drugs, and then they take those proceeds and they purchase perhaps illegal weapons, or they're trafficking in narcotics. They have an operations and a way to fund the operations of the criminal gang. You look at the Wolverine Watchmen, and these are guys that are having, like, barbecues on private property and doing defensive firearms training. It is not a gang. Like, you can't call that a violent gang. These are not the same things. None of those guys were out dealing drugs, trafficking. They weren't selling guns or whatever, except the FBI trying to get them involved in a ghost gun scheme. But other than that, like, there's just no, you can't justify putting him in the CMU like this. And the only reason they're doing it is to try to demoralize him. He said that he heard from another inmate that they put these guys in the cages together and have them fight each other. He said to look up an incident he was told by another inmate called Thompson, Thomson, Thompson SMU or something. He said that there was an incident where 7 people died, but they don't say how. 2 committed self-deletion, and then the other ones apparently, like, fought each other gladiator style or something. And this is where they're going to try to send him, with murderers and stuff like this. And so it's very scary, because he could very well end up getting attacked in this area, or they're just going to prevent him from being able to even speak with his family members, which is cruel and unusual punishment. It is tragic and it's heartbreaking. So that's the latest with Barry. It's very sad. I ask that people keep his family in your thoughts and prayers, and pray for them, and keep him and Adam in your prayers as well, because they're both, going through a very hard time right now. Adam at Florence. So, yeah, I would appreciate that. And right now there's a website for the documentary that you guys can go to now. I have media appearances on there. If you want to see the latest interviews I've done, or the latest news mentioning the documentary, you can do so there. So hopefully you guys are, happy with the progress this is being made, and we continue to do it. So that's all for now. Bye. Whee!